People. Alright, so my background, you see my TV there. I got YouTube open on my PS3. I just recently came across a really cool YouTuber. I forgot his name already. Hold on a second. Shit. Gully Boy. I think that's, yeah, Gully Boy. If you haven't checked out Gully Boy, I definitely recommend his channel. He does a lot of music-related stuff, and I just recently started getting into his channel about a few months back. My favorite video of his so far to date is 100 of the worst rappers of all time. Definitely go check that video out. I highly recommend it. But anyways, he gave me this idea here because he did his top 25 favorite rap albums. Now, as you can tell, I'm a music collector. I love my music. Who doesn't love music? But I'm a collector. So I decided to put my own spin on it. Now, instead of my favorite top 25 rap albums, I'm going to go through, I might have 25 here, I didn't count them, but, let me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I got about 23 here, and they're not just rap, it's genre related. These are my favorite albums to date. Now, I'm going to stick to a few of them. I think there's only one in here that have 2 albums by one artist, and that, of course, is Marshall Mathers. It's very hard for me to pick my favorite album by Eminem. You know, the Marshall Mathers LP was a classic. Encore was a classic. Slim Shady LP was. All of his albums are classic. Even the Marshall Mathers LP 2 that only came out 4 years ago. It is a classic. All of his music is a classic. So, with that being said, I'm going to show this one off real quick. And I'm going to stick to music that I physically own. I'm not going to count my CD book that I showed you, mainly because even though those are CDs, I'm showing physical, cased. So with that being said, I'm also not including iTunes music because I can't physically show you iTunes music. So, this is going to be the only record. All the other ones are CDs. This is the only record because I currently do not own this on a CD. I did show this in one of my updates, the update number 2. I showed this. It's Mac Miller watching movies with the sound off. Now, the reason I love this album so much is, unlike Blue Slide Park, this album is a lot more twisted. It's darker. He's more personal with this album, especially the song Remember, which is dedicated to a friend of his that he grew up with that ended up, yeah. I'm not going to say that, but his friend did end up dying, and he wrote the song Remember for him. This album's just very personal, and that's why I love it so much. Blue Slide Park was, his debut album. That's what put him on the map. But Watching Movies with the Sound Off, I believe, is more of a personal album from Mac Miller, and that's why it's my favorite. I actually just listened to this not long ago. A couple hours ago, I just put it on, and I will always love this album. It is my favorite Mac Miller album, and this album has definitely helped me since its day release. I remember I got it on iTunes, a few days after it came out. I listened to it, and it's helped me ever since then. It's definitely a really good album. Next up, we got Rise Against, The Sufferer and the Witness. Now, there's many different reasons why I love this album. One, because it's their best-selling album, first of all. This album is considered their best-selling album, but it's also considered their most underrated album. And it's also considered their most overappreciated album. This is when people started getting on the Rise Against bandwagon. Not a lot of people knew about Rise Against before this album came out. And that's when, I understand, but they had a few albums before this that were really, really fucking good. There's 2 songs on here that really helped me through, rough times, with the song Roadside and The Good Left Undone. And also The Approaching Curve. Those are really good songs. I play this album a lot. I actually have this on vinyl. I've played the vinyl. I love vinyl. But I do love this album. It's definitely my favorite. It has helped me through so much shit. When I'm depressed or whatever, I put it on, and, something about Tim's voice, just soothes everything. Next up is Korn's Issues. Now, this is, again, kind of like Rise Against. This is when people started jumping on the bandwagon of Korn, even though they had a few albums out before this. But Issues is something else. Their self-titled album is dark. I believe this is darker. Lyric themes, especially with, the song Trash, Beg for You and everything, or Beg for Me, I'm sorry. Hey Daddy, all that shit. This is another dark album. This is another album that I listen to, when I'm feeling depressed or whatever, and it helps me. It helps me cheer up, and it's actually one of their best-selling albums as well. You can't go wrong with that. Drowning Pool. I love Drowning Pool. It's such a shame that Dave died at such a young age. But Sinner is the only album with Dave, but it is my favorite. Another reason, this is another dark album. Lyric themes, I definitely can relate with it, especially the song "Tear Away." I don't care about anyone else but me. Definitely, the lyric themes in here are definitely something that you can relate to, and that's why I love this album so much. Senses Fail, Rhea and Acer. Now, Still Searching, I know I said in another video, Still Searching is my favorite album of all time, but Rhea and Acer is definitely topping that, mainly because of the darker themes, and they're starting to get back more into their post-hardcore roots, and that's definitely what this album brings out, is their post-hardcore, I'm not going to say metal, but definitely their harder side of them that you would have heard on, the EP of 2003, and, Let It Enforce You, or I can't remember the name of it, but you know what I mean. It definitely brings back their harder side, and Ancient Tombs is definitely my favorite song on here, just because Ancient Tombs is about love and tragedy, and everything that you look for. Next up we have Slipknot. Now this is a recent buy. I just got this a few weeks ago, but I never owned a copy of this beforehand. But I've listened to it in the past. I have it on iTunes and everything. But Volume 3, the Subliminal Verses, the reason I picked this over Iowa or even the self-titled album, which I do have, or, All Hope Is Gone, or even, Volume 5 or whatever, is it's the lyrical theme, again, but it's also a new shift in the Slipknot genre. Yes, it's still metal, but it's not as hard as Iowa or Slipknot. It has more of an acoustic sound to it, with Circle and Vermilion Part 2. It brings more, and it also shows off Corey's ability of melodic singing, which they did not want to do until Corey went off and did Stone Sour, and then when he came back with Slipknot. And the other thing I love about this too is the backstory of it. Now, they went to, I forgot what mansion it was, but, they didn't pull an album in all those years, in a few years, and they were basically forced to live in a mansion and write this album. And that's what I love about it. It brings back to their roots. It also is personal with Corey, with the song, Circle. It's more personal, and it also shows off Corey's more melodic bringing of the band that we do see nowadays, with the 5 album and All Hope Is Gone. Corey's more melodic voice of singing, so that's why that album and the track listing of it, there's not a single song I can skip in that album. Next up we have Blink-182's self-titled album from 2003. Again, just like all the other albums I showed, it's darker. I love when bands shift into a more darker and more realistic sounding. Now, before this, they were more known for comedy music, songs with a comedy entry. Some songs on Take Off Your Pants and Jacket were serious, but this entire album is a serious album by Blink-182. Every single song on it, it's dark, it's twisted, and it's also really fucking good. But it's more of a personal trait that when you're feeling down or whatever, you put this on, and with songs in it, I'm Lost Without You is definitely the first song I heard on this album, actually. Besides, all the singles that were brought on with it, Always and Feeling This and everything. But I remember the first time I heard that song, it made me think a lot about, my, previous relationships and everything. And that's what I love about music. That's why I picked these specific albums, because not only is it music that, I love, but it's also more on me. It helps me think about things. It helps me, get more of a mental state of mind. And I'm pretty sure that's what this next album is. So another recent buy I got is Selena Gomez's Revival. Judge me all you want, people. I really don't care. But another album that, she went more dark on. And it's, like I said, it's more of the lyrical feel of it, with music like Sober, and, It definitely brings out past relationships that she's been dealing with, personal issues that she has been dealing with over the years, and that's why I connect to it so much, is because it's the personal issues of the music that they make. Like I said, with the song "Sober" and all this other shit, it brings more of a personal trait into the music, which is why I love it. And again, this album has helped me through a lot of dark things ever since it's came out. I remember the first time I listened to the album, I fell in love with it immediately. I'm actually gonna skip that one for now, but Sum 41, Chuck, again, another dark album. And again, the reason I love it so much is because of the backstory of it. The album title of it is a security guard that ended up getting shot in Ontario. I believe it was in Ontario. And the security guard's name was Chuck. They dedicated the album to him. He is alive. He's a lot better now. But at the time, he ended up getting shot due to a riot that happened in Canada. And that's what most of the music is on this album. It's political. It's tragedy. It's rioting music that makes you want to get up and just fucking smash your head against the wall, first of all. But it's also very serious with songs like Pieces and Some Say, and just No Reason is actually a direct aim at political status that happened in the year of 2004. So I mean, it's really dark, and it's very personal, and it's very, it just makes you want to get up and just bang your head against the wall. G-Eazy, When It's Dark Out. Now, I did love, this was actually a really tough decision between, When It's Dark Out and Must Be Nice. But there's one song on here that made me pick this, and that is Everything Will Be Okay. I can definitely relate, except for the death in that song. If you haven't heard that song, I'm sorry for spoiling it, but I definitely recommend, if you don't like rap, whatever, go check out Everything Will Be Okay. It will make your opinions on him a lot better. He is a great rapper. I consider him to be up with Eminem. He's more personal. He's not a Lil Wayne rapper, drugs, money, sex, all this shit. He's a very personal rapper, and everything Will Be Okay is what decided to make me pick this over Things Get Worse. Because of the background, like I said, I've been through that position of that song. I know everything about it except for the death. That's the only part. I mean, I do know about death. I'm sure we all do. But the story that he particularly talks about, I haven't been through with that. But everything else in that song, I went through, and I felt that pain. So that's another reason why it's very personal for me. And the whole album is just fucking amazing. Talking about starting from the bottom, not a Drake bottom. G-Eazy is one of those people who actually had to work hard for his fame. Like Eminem. Drake didn't really have to work hard. He was on Degrassi. His parents were rich. He didn't have to work that hard. But rappers like G-Eazy and Eminem and 50 Cent and all these other rappers who actually had to work hard to make it to where they're at, and they start talking about their past struggles of trying to get into the industry. That's definitely what this album brings. A Day to Remember. Oh, this was actually a really hard decision to pick this. Common Courtesy, Bad Vibrations. I mean, I do love Bad Vibrations. That's actually my favorite next to this one. Now, this is the first album with Kevin Scaff, which is another reason why I picked it, because it was a new guitarist and a new voice in the band. When Kevin Scaff first joined, I didn't like him. And then when I started listening to it more and more, and I actually heard his vocal abilities in this, I loved it, because Tom Denny did not sing in the band. I mean, he did backing vocals with like Neil and Josh, but Kevin actually brings lyrics into the table. He actually does some vocals in the songs, which is what I love. But not only that, songs in this are also very personal, with songs, If I Leave, especially You Be Tails, I'll Be Sonic. Tails is definitely a personal song to me, just because of the lyric vibe. And that's why, like I said, that's why I picked most of these albums, is the lyrical vibe that comes with the music. I can relate to it, and it's just definitely highly recommend this album. If you've already listened to it and you know exactly what I'm talking about, I hope you do. But What Separates Me From You is definitely my all-time favorite Day to Remember record. From first to last, this is Heroin. Again, dark album. This is actually a really first album for dark in the band. Sonny's vocals in this were just fucking amazing. The lyrics in it, everything about it is just fucking incredible. And I love this album so much. especially with the song Heroin. I love that song very much. This album is dark, and that's why I love it. And again, the lyrical vibe that, when I'm depressed or whatever, I put this record on and I just play it, and it makes you feel better. It really does. Sometimes people don't believe me when I say, they ask me, why do you listen to metal if you're depressed? Won't that make it work? For me, metal is my vice. I love metal music because sometimes it's the lyrics that's in the songs that you won't catch that make you feel better. Like when A Day to Remember does songs and all that. I'm just blowing my cigarettes out here real quick. Some people don't understand. If you're not a metalhead, I'm sure you can't understand it, but with me, sometimes it's not just the music or it's not just the guitars. It's the vocals that come along with the music itself is what I love. Now, I did mention about this. This is Puddle of Mud Famous. I did mention this in my collection video. This is an underrated album. This album is rare nowadays. It was on the market for, like 6, 7, 8, 9 months. And then after that, it just disappeared. It is a very underrated album. This is their third album. This is Famous. And this was another style change in the band. And I loved it for it. It was, there's more acoustics, more vocal ability, more vocal melodics from Wesley. And I love it so much, especially Thinking About You. I'm So Sure is definitely another reason why I love this album. I'm So Sure has it's about being true to yourself, not following anyone else's path. Stingy fucking retarded people. I mean, they don't say that in the song, but you can hear it. That's another reason why I love this album is the vocals, the lyrics, the music, and it's definitely one of those albums that's helped me through hard times. Give me 1 second here, people. Another really hard decision was System of a Down. Now, as I found out, it really wasn't that difficult because I currently only own 3, and that's the self-titled, Steal This Album, the same thing, and Mesmerize. Now, if I had a copy of Hypnotize, it would be right here. Hypnotize is definitely my favorite album by System of a Down, and it has helped me through so much dark times. And it's just... Wait, did I say Hypnotize or Mesmerize? Okay, yeah, Hypnotize. Soldier Side. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Violent Pornography was on there. Hypnotize and Mesmerize were 2 albums that I love very much. But since I don't own a copy of Hypnotize, I decided to go with Steal This Album. Now, Roulette is definitely a big decision in this choice of why I picked this. That song makes me think. And sometimes it would even make me depressed. Sometimes I even listen to it because it gets me depressed, but also not all the time when I'm depressed. I also think a lot when I'm depressed, and Roulette is definitely one of those songs that really makes you think, and kind of think of it for people who listen to Shine Down, the song Second Chance. Think of it that way. If you don't know Roulette by System of a Down, go check it out. But it wasn't only that, it was also, Fuck the System, which was a direct attack at, Bush administration and all this shit when this album came out. It was a direct attack to politicians. It was a direct attack to our, system, our economy system, our political system. It was a direct attack to all those, and that's another reason why this album was political in some sorts, and it was vocalized really fucking great by Serge. I don't think Serge's vocals have been any other better in any other album of System of a Down except for this one. I'm sorry for saying it. That's just my honest opinion. And Darren's voice and, playing is just fucking incredible. But that album has, especially with the song Roulette. Trevi McCoy's debut album here, Lazarus. I loved Trevi McCoy and Gym Class Heroes. I really wish I possessed the Gym Class Hero album because it would definitely make this list. But like I said, I've stuck to music that I physically own. But in its place of Gym Class Heroes is Trevi McCoy's Lazarus. Kid Again is definitely a major choice in this. I listen to that song, it does take me back to when I was a kid and how much I wish that I was in my younger self's shoes again. I would, tell myself to not do shit that I did in the past, and it's just a really great album. There's nothing I could say. There's not one single bad song in this album. And it's definitely another thinking album for me, especially Kid Again. Um, and Travis' voice is just smoothing. Like when you hear Travis' voice, you automatically cheer up. At least in my case, I hear Travis' voice on a song, and my mood just brings me back up. Travis just has one of those voices that just makes you really want to get up and just enjoy life, and that's what this album brings on the table. And it's more for the fans too. Travis wrote this album for the fans. Demi Lovato. Now you all know I love Demi Lovato. She is a huge inspiration in my life. And this album is no different. Now the reason I picked Here We Go Again over Don't Forget or even Unbroken or even I can't even say Confident because I don't own that yet. Or even, Demi is, even though Demi is my all-time favorite Demi Lovato album. This album helped me out through a lot of shit back in 2009, 2010. I remember when I bought it, I brought it home, I opened it, I played it, and it was on repeat for the entire night. I fell asleep listening to it, and it was on repeat. I heard it again when I woke up, and it's just an amazing album. It's dark for her back then. This was a darker album for her. I can't remember where the fuck I put my drink. Oh, right here. And definitely, a really great album by a really great singer-songwriter. I just don't know how to explain this one. It's just, it really helps me feel better. It really brings my mood up. And I really don't have anything else to say about that. I'm actually going to show that one off a little later, because that album actually holds some more meaning into my life. 50 Cent The Massacre. Now, Dooley, or is it Dooley? Gully. Wow, I'm sorry, bro. Gully actually talked about The Massacre a little bit in one of his videos, the top 7 worst 50 Cent songs. He talked about The Massacre. I enjoyed The Massacre, and Gully talked about, like songs that shouldn't have been on this album, like Build You Up, Ride Music, all this, because it is called The Massacre, so obviously they shouldn't be in there. I love it because it has those songs. Swifty and D12 said in an interview back in 2004 when they did D12 World, Swifty said it best. He said, just because you're a gangster rapper or you're in this rap genre doesn't mean you gotta talk about shooting niggas up. And I don't care if I get hate for saying that. I'm quoting exactly what Swifty said. But Swifty said just exact that. Swifty said exactly that. Just because you are a gangster rapper or you're this or you're that doesn't mean all your music have to be shooting, money, drugs, bitches, all this. Even gangsters sometimes just want to chill back and listen to some R. Kelly and shit. Probably not R. Kelly, but you get my drift. And that's what I love about this album is songs build you up, ride music. God Gave Me Style. Such a great songs, and definitely those songs alone will help you lift your mood up and everything. And this in particular is a special edition, so it has the Out of Control remix, which is exactly why I picked it, is because I enjoyed the remix better than I did the original, because come on, it's Mobb Deep. Who cannot like Mobb Deep? But definitely one of those albums that definitely lifts your spirits up. Now, I already said that I picked one album from each artist, except for Eminem. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. So I got 2 here. Now, I'm going to talk about the Eminem Show first. Classic album by Eminem. Really good album. And with songs, Saying About a Hollywood, Haley's song, Superman, White America, again, a direct attack to republics and, George Bush, everything. That's why I picked it, is because it's political, and I love hearing shit about that. I love hearing attacks to, the government and everything. I love it so much. But it wasn't only that, it was also, songs with Saying Goodbye to Hollywood, Haley's song, great fucking song, My Dad's Going Crazy. Just in general, it was all these songs that made me pick this album. When I hear Haley's song, I think about my past, because I've been in that position. Again, I have been in that position. Being taken away from your parents and everything. I've been in that position. I can relate. That song brings me to my point. there were times where I would actually listen to the censored version of that song because that's how great it is. I don't like censored music, but Haley's song censored, it makes you think. I mean, I don't really know how to explain it. I just used to listen to it censored. And then Relapse. Now, I chose Relapse out of all the other ones. You know, I mean, obviously I would have picked the Marshall Mathers LP or something, but I chose Relapse because it was Eminem's recovery. Even though he did have an album Recovery, but this is the first album he did when he got out of rehab. And Beautiful is the main reason why I picked it. I remember the first time I heard that song on the radio, I immediately wanted the album to drop right then. Beautiful was, again, one of those songs that you don't follow anyone else, just be true to yourself, be who you are, fuck what anyone else thinks. And that's exactly why I picked this album in particular, is because of that one song. You know, it's personal. It brings you up. It makes you think, like, I don't have to follow anyone else. I'll just be true to myself and fuck what everyone else thinks. I got a couple more here. Now, my list wouldn't be complete without old school hip hop, and this is Ready to Die by Biggie. I don't even know where to begin. This is a classic hip hop album. One reason why I picked it in this list is because it's a classic hip hop album. You listen to this album, you immediately go back to 1994 with the song With the What, with Method Man. You know, it's just a great fucking album from start to finish. I love it. You know, rest in peace to Biggie. Also, happy birthday to Tupac, man. Tupac Shakur's birthday's today. Going to see that movie tomorrow. I'll do a review on that when I get done with that. But Biggie, I really wish that you didn't have to die, man. You could be changing the game right now, and that's another reason why I picked this is if Biggie was not dead, if Tupac and Biggie were not dead, I don't think the rap game would be where it's at right now. It would be a hell of a lot better with classic industrials. It would just be a hell of a lot better than what the shit we're getting now. But Ready to Die is definitely a classic. I highly recommend it. Go check it out. My cigarette just died. My Chemical Romance. 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. The Ghost of You. I'm Not Okay. Cemetery Drive. Helena. Hang 'em High. Those are all options of why I picked this album. Again, a dark album. It's also a concept album. It's a great album. It's a great major label debut album. And Gerard's voice is just fucking incredible. There's nothing to say about this album. Again, this album has helped me out through dark times. I mean, I played it every time. Before I even got a physical copy of the album, I had it on my computer. I would play the album all the time on my phone on my way to school. I would just listen to it, and it would just lift my mood right back to where I started. And finally, I have... I'm sorry, guys, I had to. Miley Cyrus. Now, like I said, judge me all you want, but Miley had potential back in the day. Breakout was a classic album. I love it. You know, Meet Miley Cyrus was a great album. This is another dark album by her. And there's 3 reasons why I picked this song. The song called Stay, it's about a friend that ended up tragically dying. She didn't take her life, but I can't remember the story, but she wrote it for her friend that died. And it is just the sweetest, and every time, when I hear it, dude, I fucking cry. I'm not gonna lie. It makes you miss the people that you lost, the loved ones that you've lost. My Heart Beats for Love, definitely another song that's, you know, it makes you think, Robot, definitely my favorite song on this album. Basically, again, you know, just be yourself. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Just, you are in control of your own life. Don't let anyone else ruin it. But Can't Be Tamed, Miley Cyrus. I'm really happy that she's getting back to her old roots with the song Malibu. But I got one more. Actually, I lied. I got one more. I will be back in about 2 seconds. Hold on. 1, 2. Okay. Now, for this album in particular, I've chosen this one. Now, this is The Used in Love and Death. I played this album so many times when I'm depressed, and there's so many reasons behind it. Great album. It's an amazing album. It's got softer songs in it, like Yesterday's Feelings. Hard to Say is definitely the number one reason why I picked it, is for Hard to Say. It's about his girlfriend that ended up dying while she was pregnant with his child. It's such a sad song, but it's also a really happy song because it makes you open up and feel the feelings of losing the loved ones that you miss. And with songs like I'm a Fake, definitely a classic song by the Used. And this whole album in general is just definitely a great album that lifts my moods. It might not lift yours, but like I said, for some reason, depressing music I listen to when I'm depressed. I listen to depressing music, which is probably not a good idea, but it lifts me up. It lifts my spirits. It makes me feel better when I listen to the vocals and listen to Bert's. Bert is a poetrist, kind of like, I don't consider Bert a lyricist. Well, I mean, a lyricist is a rapper, but whatever. Bert's music is far from just music. His music is real life issues that everyone deals with, not just Bert. Everyone. The Taste of Ink was about, starting the career of the Used, getting out of this slump and starting to build up on what your dream is. The same with Say Days Ago. It's an incredible album. I highly recommend it. If you've never listened to the Used, and if you just want to start out listening to the Used, I highly recommend you listen to In Love and Death your very first time. It is their best-selling album to date. Whenever anyone mentions the Used, I'm sure they'll probably either say their self-titled album or In Love and Death. If they say Lies for the Liars was a good album too, but in my honest opinion, In Love and Death will definitely lift your spirits, and it will definitely help you feel better. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy your stay. Go follow me on Twitter. I'll put everything in the description below. Thank you so much for watching my videos, and I hope that you all have a great night. Later.